guys, it's your girl Erica Rain, and I'm back with another topic today. This series is going to be called the Babyfather Chronicles, and it's a topic that I really have been dying to talk about for so long, being that I have a baby father. But anyways, without further ado, the topic today is going to be how do you get your baby father back? And before I go even further, I want you to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure you give a thumbs up. So I really just wanted to take time to acknowledge, the fact that you have every right to want your son's father back or your daughter's father back. I mean, it's only natural that, you will want to have a complete and whole family. It's hard out here to be a single mother. It's not easy to raise a child on your own. And being that I only have one kid, and it's such a hard thing to do, especially when the other parent is nowhere to be found or is not in the household. And I have a son, so it's really hard, especially, raising a young man on your own, and trying to co-parent with someone from a distance. And I just really wanted to take the time to acknowledge that, it may seem like it's gonna be forever, but trust, even if you guys don't get back with your baby father, there is gonna be someone out there who's gonna find you, who's gonna love on you and your son or your daughter. I mean, take Sierra for instance. She found Russell Wilson, and that was a blessing. Just have faith and just pray to God and take it one day at a time. But for those who really are trying to get their baby father back, I really wanted to mention, if they don't, this is my theory. If a man doesn't come back within 365 days, which is a year, 9 times out of 10, he's probably not coming back. And that's something that you're going to have to accept and get through. If he does not come back within a year, and have at the top of the new year, for instance, say January or February, then that person is not coming back. If he doesn't come back within at least 6 months to a year, he's probably not coming back. And everybody's situation is different. Some people are exceptions to this, Some men do come back, Men are very primitive creatures, as I've said before. Sometimes it takes them a long time to realize, that, what they've lost. And sometimes they do come back, though. But without further ado, I have my notes. Okay, so if you really want your baby father back, you really have to think about what was it that you did in the relationship to make everything go awry. Take your responsibility and take account for your part in the separation or the breakup. Take accountability and try to work on yourself. The best thing you can do right now is to focus on yourself and your child. Put as much attention into yourself and your child. That's all you can do. And put a lot of self-care into yourself. Work out, start a new diet, eat healthy. For me, what helped with me is I journaled a lot. I wrote a lot of poetry, I journaled, I started writing a book. Get into hobbies. Don't put all your time and energy in trying to get your baby's father back to the point that it just becomes like idol worship. That's not a good thing. Too much of anything is bad for you anyway. So get back into yourself, love on yourself, and do the things that you need to do. The best defense is a great offense. Don't try to intentionally get him back. Men automatically know if you're trying to get back with him. They can sense it. Say if your baby's father comes to the house and you're all dressed up sexy, he's automatically gonna know that, oh, she trying to reel me back in. But you do want to look presentable in front of the man, when he comes around. Don't look like a trash bucket. That's gonna turn him off even more. But when he does come around, it's very important that you appear to look like you're happy, that you're focused on yourself and your son. The best thing to do is just be happy. Be happy with yourself genuinely. You know what they say, the best way to catch a bee is with honey. So just be sweet, be yourself. Don't be too overly sweet, but just act normal. Depending on your situation, if you want your baby's father's back, let me see. Don't have sex with him. Do not engage in sexual activity with him. That's the worst thing you can do, because then he'll always come back around thinking that he could just sleep with you and up and leave. If there's a new woman in his life, don't ever bring up the new girl. Don't mention her at all. Don't mention her at all. I'm telling you. It's the best thing you do is never mention the other woman. Sometimes it can be very hard to get your baby father back, especially if they're in a new relationship. But one thing you have to understand is that you have a good advantage because you're his baby mother and you're going to be around for a very long time with your child. So it's not like at any point you'll be cut out of the picture. You'll always be around in some form or fashion. You have to understand that you manifested a child here with this person, and that makes you guys pretty much linked up together for life. But emotionally and physically, it could be hard to get the man back if he's with another woman, especially being that, like, okay, say if he's moved in with this woman, it's going to be really hard because everyone knows when you're cohabitating with another person, you start to really create a bond. I mean, the daily life dynamics, it's like you're really creating a bond with somebody, living with that, you're like cohabitating with that person. So it's gonna be hard to like break a bond like that. These are people that are living with each other, and obviously, they doing their little personal things, inside that household. So it's kind of hard to break something like that up. But depending on your baby's father relationship with the other woman, how every relationship has their ups and downs. You don't necessarily know whether they could be going through hard times or good times. So depending on how the season in their relationship is, will basically either give you a leg up and get him back, or basically will make it harder for you to get him back. One of the things to do is to really just accept the fact that, okay, he's moved on if he has, and you should do the same. Try not to focus on him. I'm telling you right now, the best way to get your baby father back is to try not to get him back at all. Just be normal. Don't think about it. Don't put too much effort in focusing on him. Go on with your life. Eventually, he'll catch up. And I always say, if it's truly meant to be between you and a person, God will eventually send that person back to you. God always directs a man's footsteps. So his footsteps may lead back to you or they may not. But you have to be willing to accept the fact that you and your son's father may not be meant to be, and just move on. It'll be hard to accept at first, but you can get through it. It takes a lot of prayer, a lot of prayer, and just getting back into yourself and your child, and focusing on your career, saving money, anything to get your mind off this person. It's really hard to try not to get your son's father back or your daughter's father back, because this is someone you created life with. So that automatically makes you really bonded. Like, it's different for a woman. You've been carrying this man's DNA around in your body for about 9 months, and you finally give birth, and you're raising a child on your own. It's a hurtful thing, but you're not the first woman to do it, and you won't be the last. Sometimes the best thing to do is to love that person from afar. Love your baby father from afar. Love them from afar. Don't let them know that, oh my gosh, I'm in love with you. Don't let them know that. Don't let them get the idea that you're still in love with them. But just love them from afar. And what I mean by that is just, being nice and being polite. When you love someone, you let them go and you let them do what they need to do to get through life. And maybe eventually they'll come back around. You just have to have faith and trust in the process. And also accept the fact that you and this person, once again, may not be meant to be. One thing that really helped me, it really helped, and I know I'm reiterating, but it's prayer. A lot of prayer helped. I had to come to the realization that my son's father just really didn't love me. He really, truly didn't care about me. And I accepted that. I felt like if he cared about me, he would be more present in his son's life. And that's what I care about the most, is like that he has a relationship with his son and not necessarily with me. And sometimes when he's not really pursuing a relationship with his son, it does hurt me. But I don't try to get too hung up on it, because I really develop a lot of faith in God, and knowing that at the end of the day, everything will be okay. And I'm not gonna let this get me down or get me discouraged and from living my life and raising my son the best way that I can. And I feel like whoever's watching this, you should do the same. Have faith and be happy and know that everything is gonna be okay. Like I said before, look at Sierra's situation. She was devastated when Future left her. But eventually somebody came up and decided to take the responsibility and love her and her son. And that can happen for you. It may not happen right away and as quick as how Sierra's situation did, but it can happen. It may be a little bit time down the road, but right now is the time for you to get your stuff together, focus on you and your child. And if that person catches up, your son's father or your daughter's father, they'll catch up and they'll eventually realize what they've lost in the process and want to be back with you. I always say, sometimes the best revenge, like if you were dumped or if you dump your baby father or vice versa, is sometimes the best thing is to not get back with them right away. If they do come back, make them wait. Let me see. I have my handy dandy notebook, so let me see. Once again, I mentioned don't have sex with them. Try not to focus on them too much. Never bring up the new girl in his life. And just move on. Move on. Try to get in another, I'm not going to say try to get in another relationship. If you end up getting in a relationship with a new guy, let it happen naturally. Don't try to go out of your way to be vindictive and get another man just to make your son's father or daughter's father jealous. It's not going to work. It's going to make things worse. And it's going to make your co-parenting situation much more worse. Another thing that's great, and when you're trying to get your son's father back or your daughter's father back, is the no contact rule. Do not contact him under any circumstances unless he reaches out to you asking for updates about the child. Don't even send pictures to that person unless he asks, oh, can I get a picture of my son or daughter? Then you can do that. The best thing to do is to draw a line in the sand. Put up boundaries with this person. This person either left you or you either left them. It's time to put up your boundaries. They shouldn't have access to your life as they had before. They should only have access to their child. Also, try to realize maybe what messed the situation up in the beginning was your attitude. Take responsibility for your actions. Maybe you just have a reckless mouth and that's something that you need to work on. Maybe you just have an attitude problem and that's something that you need to work on. And like I said before, right now is the best time for you to focus on yourself and get what you need to get right with you. Maybe you were the one that cheated and broke up the whole relationship. Maybe you need to figure out whether you really want him back or not. And that could solve all of this. But once again, I want to just say, really focus on your child. That's the most important thing. It's not really important to try to get your baby father back. If he realizes what he's missing and what he's lost, he'll come back around. And once again, if it's been a year to six, if it's been a year and some change, let me say, if he's in a relationship and he's been in that relationship over 2 years, I really think you should just don't try to get him back anymore. Don't. Just focus on yourself. Move on with your life. Don't even think about him anymore. But I would keep the no contact rule intact. Don't contact him. Treat him as a regular person. Treat him as if this was a regular breakup. Do you talk to anybody that you've broken up with before? I mean, you can still maintain a friendly friendship, but don't get too beyond that. Don't get too deep into that. And once again, don't have sex with this person. That's really much all I gotta say. So I want you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me guys what you think and what you think I should talk about next. Have a blessed day. It's your girl, Erica Rain.
Yeah, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, you'll never know.